Alright, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash, the mothers unto the apostles and the elders of great mercy, that surely do all well. Peace and blessings unto the Arkham, surely four corners of the soul, that continue to push the soul in all sincerity and with all diligence. This is your brother, Matana from the GMS, Trinidad camp, and just coming through the Spirit and the power of the Lord to do our next lesson. And hopefully at the end, after viewing it, you've been edified. Because that is the purpose of these lessons, to be edified and built up in faith and exhorted. And this lesson here gonna be entitled "Where in the Scriptures." I might make the title long, but what the video gonna be about is, where in the Scriptures does it say that the Sabbath is, from sunrise to sunset? Basically 12 hours in the day. Because I had this brother turned scoffer, he bugged out, about 7 years ago. He fell out of the camp, and came back. I think it was last Thursday or Thursday before, when we had, the street preaching, and he came back with a lot of, questionable stuff, things that he wouldn't taught or wouldn't speaking while he was in the truth, which happens 100% all the time. As soon as you leave the camp, as soon as you leave the umbrella of Great Millstone, you adopt a lot of wayward doctrine. You see, man, started teaching that the Gentiles could make it, and you had to love Esau, and the mark of the beast is not the RFID tag, and all sorts of stuff. And where he one thing that he mentioned was that the Sabbath is from Saturday morning at 6 to Saturday night, which we already established that the Sabbath is not on Saturday, because there is no Saturday in the Scriptures. But what it says the 7th day. 6 days shall he work, and the 7th day is the Sabbath day. But for some reason people believe that the 7th day is automatically Saturday, because Esau says that Saturday is the 7th day. Now, I'm not gonna make this long. I'm just gonna touch on the part where he says it's from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. because it says day, in contrast to day and night. So he says that because the Scriptures say the 7th day, it's speaking about daytime, which is which he got caught. But I just said I'm gonna do a lesson, because it had a lot of different talk, a lot of different topics going on as well. At the same time, them scoffers and them operate, so you never really get to dive in much into this to bring all the Scriptures that we had. Right, let's gonna start with this precept here. This Exodus 20 and verse 8. It says, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, Know thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So, in essence, we got our Sabbath from what the Lord did. You know, how he got his Sabbath and how his Sabbath was. Because the scriptures say that he blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, which is the seventh day. Now, when you go back to the account of when the Lord was creating the heaven and the earth, and creating everything in it. In Genesis, I'm gonna get Genesis 1 and verse, I believe it's in, it could be in chapter 2. But before you reach chapter 2, in verse 5, it says, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. You understand? So, what makes up a day? Evening and the morning. It says day here as well, but was it speaking about daytime? No, absolutely not. Because we understand that there is daytime or daylight hours, which is from sunrise to sunset, but there is a period which consists of 24 hours that makes up a day. And that day begins with darkness, or what we call evening, and ends with light, or what we call morning. So this here, you see, men just leave the truth, and all sorts of spirit just jump on them, and they started to teach us that madness. Because how you could know that the Lord called evening and the morning a day, and then say that the Sabbath is from sunrise to sunset? That doesn't make any sense. You understand? For that moment, look up the word day. In Exodus, it have the same day as there, which is Yawam. Or here they have Yom. It says day, time, year, day as opposed to night, which is what he says it is. And then there is day, 24-hour period as defined by evening and morning in Genesis 1. You understand? It says, go down to the Strong's definition. It says, from an unused root meaning to be hot, a day as the warm hours, which we understand that there is daytime when the sun is up, whether literal from sunrise to sunset or from one sunset to the next, which is what the Lord was speaking about. And I would prove that. It says, or figurative, a space of time defined by an associate term. So that is one. That is one we deal with there. There is this scripture, Leviticus 23 on or is it 32? Yeah. I'll read from let's jump straight to the point. It's Leviticus, speaking about the Day of Atonement. Let's jump to the point. Leviticus 23 and verse 38 says, and whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You know, he shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. But the day of atonement is really the 10th day. You know, the 10th day of the month. When it says in verse 27, it says, also on the 10th day of this 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. But here it says, it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even, or at evening. So as you go closer towards the sunset of the 9th day, or the ending of the 9th day, towards the beginning of the 10th day, that is when the Sabbath start. It says, from evening unto evening shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. So the scriptures say, I read it. Yes, no. Wait, 20, and it's 8 and 20. It's Isaiah 8 and verse 20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Why there is no light in that soul now? Because you don't call upon Yahushua anymore. You call upon Ahaya and Yeshaya and that sort of bullshit. You understand? Or the name of the Lord is Ahaya. There wouldn't be any light in him, and you'd start to speak those kind of foolishness. Or the Sabbath is from Saturday sunrise to Saturday sunset, and the Sabbath isn't even on Saturday. You understand? I went through all that with him, and you really and truly don't even need to go through all that with those men, because at one point in time they knew what the correct thing was. You understand? He knew that the correct thing was, you know, that you would celebrate your Sabbath or keep your Sabbath according to what day the new moon comes in that. You understand? But let me read over that scripture in Leviticus 23. Leviticus 23 and verse 32. It says, it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at evening. You know, when the day of atonement is really the 10th day. And it's the same thing like with the Passover. The Passover said the 14th day at evening. It's really the 15th day. But as you grow towards, because evening is really, you know, there's evening where you have the late evening, which is the night time, and then the early evening, which is the afternoon from 3, you can say 3 to 6, you know, as the sun, you know, goes down, which is growing towards the beginning of the new day, but it actually is still in that day. You know, so it would say the 9th day at evening. You know, so as you come closer to the 10th day, you prepare yourself. It says, from evening unto evening shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. So this year is a straight cut. You don't even have to go into the evening and the morning with the first day with that guy anymore. But for further proof, Nehemiah 13 and verse I'll jump straight to the point again of verse 19. It says, "And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath," you hear that? "And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath," how can it begin to become dark? Sun setting, sun going down, a lack of light. When the nighttime, approaches, it says, I commanded that the gates should be shut and charged, that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set eye the gates, that there should be no burden brought in on the Sabbath day." Because here they were selling on the Sabbath and making wine and all sorts of foolishness. They go to the backstory, but let's jump to the point where it says that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, so that is evening time again. Straight, let me read it in the next version and see, if they would say that. Hey, first one, CSB, "When the shadows began to fall on the city gates of Jerusalem just before the Sabbath." What cast shadows? Light in darkness. What brings that darkness? The removal of the sun. Nighttime. It says, NLT, "Then I commanded that the gates of Jerusalem should be shut as darkness fell every Friday evening." We know they're going on for the Friday, but the point is that it were in the evening. And if when evening shadows fell on the gates of Jerusalem before the Sabbath. Okay, next one. So, you get the point. That is the point. These men, leave and take you. Read a precept and just close off one time. 2 Timothy 3 and verse 13, it says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." And we thought we were here in the worst of it 5-6 years ago, but as we get closer to the appearance of the Lord, man, just coming up with new things. You understand? It actually getting worse and worse. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Here it says, continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of. How are we assured of this? Because there is proof in the scriptures. There is no fucking proof that the Sabbath is from sunrise to sunset. You can't be assured of that. Furthermore, I'm look up what assured. It says confident, protected against discontinuance or change. It says tell someone. It says tell someone something positively to dispel any doubts. Make sure of something. Make something certain to happen. It says guaranteed. One of the synonyms is guaranteed. Guaranteed through what? Through the scriptures. There is nothing else to be guaranteed of. It says, verse 14 again, but continue down the things which thou hast learned, and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Yahweh. So with that, I want to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Yahukakwatash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders that grieve milestone, that surely do well. Peace and blessings unto the Akim, truly four corners of this world. Until next time, I say Inshallah.